Game Freak just quietly changed Pokemon forever. In this video today, we're going to talk about all of the release dates for the next Pokemon games. Yes, plural games, not just Pokemon Winds and Waves, but I do mean after that, the game after Winds and Waves, even the DLC for Winds and Waves. And of course, during the Switch 2 lifespan, we're going to have several big mainline Pokemon games, of course. So with that being said, we did have the Terra Leak, which is about a year or two old at this point, and that information was really good, but things have actually changed since then. So Game Freak, what are you guys doing? Something definitely just feels completely different about Pokemon now, and I don't feel like people know how massive that change actually is. And some of these quick examples I can give you guys right now is basically just longer waits in between brand new generations of Pokemon, less trailers and news, as we know from the Legends ZA days where we didn't have anything that entire year that it was announced, fewer games overall, and of course Legends games are completely changing the formula. So recently it just hasn't been weird to be weird. Game Freak honestly may have changed Pokemon forever. Winds and Waves obviously is coming out next year. Currently that's the only officially announced Pokemon game that we have is Generation 10 of Pokemon, and that is huge. The DLC for this game is most likely going to come out in 2028, so the year after, although there is a chance that it could release a couple of months after the game fully releases, just like how ZA was. And the only reason they would do that is so they can get the other games out sooner, because if they were to drop the DLC the next year, I just don't see us getting another big release of a Pokemon game during that exact same year, because with Scarlet and Violet, when we had the DLC for the game, we didn't get a game that year. Pokemon used to be very predictable. New generation every single 3 years. There used to be third versions of the games, but that hasn't really been a thing for a while now. They used to be constant spin-offs. While there still are spin-offs, it seems like they're kind of focusing on making those spin-offs even bigger and better. Like Champions is an awesome and pretty big game for a free game, to be honest. Pokemon Unite is obviously still very popular. Pokeopia is one of the best spin-offs of all time. Every single Pokemon Presents usually would be predictable. We kind of assume exactly what they're going to show off, but they have been doing some crazy things as of the recent couple of months/years. And of course, they used to give us a brand new game almost every single year, like a new mainline game. I just can't get over the fact that we're going to go in these times where there's more and more silence. Like, I don't like the silence. I just want to know and be informed and be updated from Game Freak themselves, during a Pokemon Presents or during even a Nintendo Direct, because they do sometimes show Pokemon stuff during Nintendo Direct. And that leads us to what is after the DLC for Winds and Waves. So we are still going to be getting a third Legends game. I just dropped a video talking about what it could still be. The Terra League claimed is going to be a Legends Galar, so a Generation 8 Pokemon Sword and Shield game, but a Legends version that takes place in that region 1,000 years in the past. And well, it seems like that actually still is probably going to be the case. It seems like we will still be getting that exact same game, although things may be different. They may change the lore and some of the storyline and stuff like that. But as of right now, it does seem like Legends Galar is still going to be coming out after Winds and Waves. Now, the most important thing that I'm talking about with all these games is the release date specifically. So if we do get Winds and Waves 2027 and then the DLC in 2028, that means Legends Galar could potentially be a 2029 release, which is kind of crazy to think about. They went from Legends ZA, brand new generation, to another Legends game. And I want to know your wildest theory for a Legends game. Like, what is a generation or a Legends game you would absolutely love to see? In my opinion, they're still going to be dropping Legends games. I don't think that they're going to be stopping after this third one. I could see them dropping a Legends game for every single generation. And now the game that's coming out after that, it still does seem like the original Terra Leak is pretty much 100% accurate with the games that they are releasing, but the release dates have all been changed. They've all been postponed, basically. So the next game is going to be the official Pokemon MMO, which is codenamed Seed. So this game, I guess, would probably come out in 2030 unless they decide to delay it again to 2031, but it's probably going to be 2030. See, we had all these huge delays and huge pushbacks and I guess gaps, you could say, with Pokemon, that we probably actually will still be getting yearly big releases, which is very interesting because of just how much, I guess, silence we've had and just the lack of games, I guess you could say, compared to before at least. But yeah, the Pokemon MMO, all the Japanese regions in one game specifically. We have had leaks about that game still being developed. It is still being worked on as of right now, but that game should be probably coming out in 2030, like I said. So the next huge game seems like it's going to be Generation 11. I know, it's insane, bro. But Game Freak, we have figured it out. We, the audience, have figured out what you are doing because we have all these different leaks from very reputable sources, and they are still claiming that these games are still being developed and worked on. And obviously, a Pokemon game takes years to create. So I just don't see them really scrapping these, although it's always possible. They could totally scrap it. And in that small case, these leaks are actually wrong. We could still be getting a different game, which is really interesting to kind of just think about. But Generation 11 is most likely coming out in 2031, maybe even 2032. And the reason why I'm saying 2032 is because of the fact that they're going to continue with this 5-year gap in between Pokemon games, or at least generations. Then that literally would be 2032, because 2027 would be the release of Winds and Waves, which is insane to think about the year 2030. I'm assuming the Switch 2 is still going to be around. I'm assuming we'll still be playing that on the Switch 2. I don't know, maybe the Switch 3 is going to be out by then. This is currently the most accurate, I guess you could say, lineup / release schedule for these future Pokemon games, just judging on how they have delayed the games. And it low-key kind of does depend on the DLC, I feel like. But even if they did drop that DLC a couple months after Winds and Waves fully came out, I feel like it's possible they could even still give a whole gap year, or even do 2 releases in a year. Like, why not? They could totally drop the DLC and the next Legends game in the same year, but I feel like they're going to space it out, because I think yearly releases, as far as different types of games go, is probably the best thing, because we'll have a brand new generation, then another Legends game, and then the Pokemon MMO game, and then a brand new generation. There's no remake. We don't have a single remake currently, which is wild, because we always have a remake between generations, at least typically we do. My opinion is that the Pokemon Seed Pokemon MMO game is kind of filling in the gap for that remake, because we're going back to all of the Japanese regions, which is basically generations 1 through 4, and I do believe Kitakami is also going to be there, so that's probably going to be what they kind of consider the remake for this generation. I think they're doing that also because the Gen 4 remakes were hated on so much, so I think they're just like giving the remakes a break and just kind of saying what they want to do with them. It is very interesting that we had the original Terra Leak with all this information. It is just kind of insane to think that the Terra Leak, as far as the games go, it's pretty much accurate still to this day, which I know isn't like the most insane thing of all time, but basically why I'm saying that is because we had a lot of rumors over the last couple of months about them actually scrapping or changing a lot of these games specifically. But it seems like mainly the only thing they're going to change is maybe the story behind Legends Galar, because it seems like it may not potentially be the exact same Legends Galar that we knew from the Terra Leak. And then of course the release dates, which is the purpose of this video today, is talking about the years that these games should be releasing, just because I feel like that's a pretty good topic, and I feel like it's very interesting because we are still in the dark from Game Freak, but we are figuring it out. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys the recap of the current lineup of Pokemon games, because I've obviously talked about all these games on the channel before, especially recently, because we've had just a lot of leaks recently, but all those leaks added up to this specific release schedule, where Generation 11 is probably going to be 2031 or 2032, just depending on how they space out these next couple of games. Let me know which one of these games you are looking forward to the most. I think I'm probably looking forward to the MMO the most. I think that's going to be really cool. Obviously, I'm hyped for Winds and Waves. I really hope it's a good game. And I also have a quick question for you guys. I'm thinking about stopping the daily upload schedule just every now and then. If you guys haven't known, I've been doing daily uploads for over a year, about a year and a half now. I've been debating on maybe taking a day off here and there from uploading. I just wanted to know what you guys think, if I should actually do that. Of course, I'd pretty much upload almost every single day regardless. Anyway, if you are watching this far in the video, comment down below. Penguin, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.